Welcome back to the Total Focus Podcast. I'm your host, Paul. Our special guest this week is Jennifer Santiago. She is a former Miss Pennsylvania U.S. International. She is an actor, model, and pageant contestant. She has had the privilege of being signed with a modeling agency for several years, even had the opportunity to model on the Wendy Williams show. She has so much experience, so much knowledge to provide to you. She also is really concerned about, in this time of need, to donate money to the food banks. So we're going to talk about that too, so you better stay tuned. And welcome to the show.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
Fine, good. How are you doing today, Jennifer?
Pretty good. Pretty excited.
Good, good. Well, it's always awesome to have a really well-rounded interviewer on the show, someone who has dabbled both in front of the camera, modeling, and pageant contesting. So I was really excited to bring you on the show and really have you tell your story, because I know there's a lot of people that would love to be able to accomplish all three goals that you've accomplished. And
Oh,
I would
thank
love,
you.
and I'd love for you to just give a little bit of insight on maybe some of the pitfalls and what you should look for. So, how early did you get into to being the superstar? Were you doing sports, or were you doing acting, or like how did it all start?
I would definitely say it started probably around I was at 14. Well, I've always wanted to get into modeling. The acting realm wasn't really for me, but I definitely wanted to be on stage from a very young age. So I would say maybe like 7. I thought about joining, but with the circumstances, my family we couldn't afford it. So um, my first official pageant when I was able to get into pageantry was at 17, and the first time I ever joined a modeling agency was at 14. So,
What was the
yeah.
experience of being signed by an agency that young? Did you understand that, um, or comprehend like what you were getting yourself into?
So prior to that, believe it or not, I was actually a tomboy. I was very sporty, and I didn't even know what eyeliner was. So when I first got into modeling, I went to modeling school, and they were teaching us about hair and makeup and how to walk and how to present ourselves on stage. And being so young, I definitely had a lower self-esteem since I was a tomboy. I didn't feel girly enough, but little by little I started breaking out of my shell. And once I did my first fashion show, I felt that's really something I want to do. And it is something that I still do to this day, although I do it part-time. I still like to make time for fashion and the modeling world and industry.
How did the fashion show come about? Is that something that you just happened to run? You found on a website or social media, or did you have a local friend that told you about it?
So it was actually through the modeling agency that I went to
Gotcha.
modeling school in, and they needed models, and that was, I think, I would say my first official fashion show was like 15. Um, but that was it was a very nice experience. I always consider myself like the nerdy girl, so being on stage in like heels and a dress was very different. Like I couldn't even walk in heels, but I definitely did a lot of research. I looked online, and I especially would look into the Victoria's Secret models, and I literally admired all their walks. So I would practice, and honestly, it finally came to me. Um, after modeling, though, I definitely decided that I wanted to do pageantry. So every time I would watch Miss Universe, so I'm actually I'm 100% Hispanic, but I am a mixed Hispanic. So I have three cultures integrated in me. So Dominican, Puerto Rican, and then I was raised in the United States. So in my culture, pageantry is huge. So coming from two different cultures, there's a lot of rivalry in my house. So my mom would be like, well, my country's gonna win, and then my dad would be like, well, my country has more crowns, and
Oh,
uh,
wow.
so, and
Okay.
they're still married. So,
I mean, isn't that sounds like a it's a it's just good, good rivalry usually adds to good um spiciness when it comes to anything because when there's nothing you can compete for, there's no passion. So,
agreed. I'm very proud to be, coming from a diverse culture. I have two cultures, and I've always been, I've always grown up to accept other cultures. I'm diverse myself. Even my dogs. Whenever I get a dog, I ask them, is the dog mixed? Because I feel like I identify with them, and no one ever wants mixed breeds, and I want them. I love all animals. So,
well, do you do that the same when you seek a significant other then too?
oh, what? I'm sorry.
Do you do the same thing when you seek a significant other then too?
I'm sorry. I couldn't understand the last
Do
word you said.
so do you do the same when you're looking for a significant other too?
Oh, a significant other? No, I'm very open minded when it comes to
Okay.
dating.
Okay.
Um, I will date outside my race. I'll date within. It doesn't really matter. I'm mostly just looking for value, key points, things that a man has. The character. Those things are more important to me.
Mhm. So I wanted to ask you. So you said that you did one fashion show independently. You did one show through an agency. Was the fashion show that you remember any way different than the one that was set up through your agency? Was it still run professionally, or was it totally a different world? Like, was there more makeup artists or better dresses, or is there something different when you work with an agency? Is it a bigger production? I guess is what I'm asking.
It really depends on the client. So usually clients go to a modeling agency and they're looking for models. And once they have their models, it can be for bridal or it can be for high fashion. I usually don't get booked for high fashion because I'm not considered tall enough. So I am 5'7". So I'm right there. Usually they book girls that are 5'8" and taller. Not always, not necessarily always, but that's usually what they want. So it really just depends on the client. Like the most first pageant I did was very casual, laid back. We did our own hair, makeup, and then the most recent I would say would be the Wendy show. That one it was a live show, and there were makeup artists there. We had someone measuring our body, making sure that their outfits they had will fit us properly. So it was actually a 2-day event. We'll go in for a fitting, and then the following day, wake up early morning. I remember getting to New York. It was like 4 in the morning, and I had to be there for hair and makeup. If I'm not mistaken, it was like 5:30 to then be ready for the show at 9.
Well, I mean, was that like a breakthrough moment for you to have that experience to do a runway show on a television, daytime television? Is that something that you've always been seeking to do, or it was just once in a lifetime opportunity? It was so exciting. Like,
So honestly, it was unexpected. Believe it or not, I didn't know about the Wendy show until I was told that if I wanted a model for the Wendy show. So it all kind of just happened. I was actually working at a TV station. I was working for Univision for about a year and a half or 2 years, and I met a
in
girl
Washington?
in Univision.
Yes.
So I used to do the commercials, and I used to put the commercials on television and make sure that everything was going to air at the right time.
But you work at the Washington office.
No, I worked actually out of the South New Jersey
Okay,
office.
okay. You were still okay. So you're working in the New Jersey. Okay, okay, that's
No,
awesome.
yeah, I was not anymore, but I did that for a year and a half. So I actually made a connection there with another girl from that also worked in the university, but she would work out of the New York office, and she was new, and I was trying to help her understand, like, okay, this is what we need to do, and this is what we need to do, like through chat. And she was like, "You're such a nice person." And I was like, "Thank you." And she started asking me random questions like, "Well, how tall are you, and what are your sizes?" And I told her, and she's like, "Do you model?" And I told her, "Sometimes I do." And she's actually the one that got me to go on the Wendy show. This actually wasn't through a modeling agency. It was just through word of mouth, honestly.
Well, that's awesome. So
Hmm.
do you do you contribute a lot of your modeling success to your agency, or just through good networking like you did this time?
I would say it's a little bit of both. It's mostly networking. I don't do it full time, so I haven't done as much as I would have liked to in the modeling industry. It's only like a handful of events that I've done, but it's been a bit of both. Yes, definitely.
Okay. So you said 9, 10, you get into modeling, and then you start doing pageants. Were you
Hmm.
competing in the teen pageants at that point?
Yes. So my first pageant was the 17, and it was for the National American Miss. I competed in Pennsylvania, and I didn't win. I realized, the first pageant you're coming in, you're looking around, and you're so new. You're kind of just doing things as you go, like rehearsals. They're like, we have to do this, and you're like, okay, I'll do that. But I wasn't fully prepared. I kind of just went there for the thrill and the experience, which I'm grateful for, because through that, then I realized, well, I need to work on my interview skills, or I feel like I need to work a little bit more on, my onstage presence. So, although I didn't win, I did get second place for the modeling competition that
That's
year.
big. That's big, especially coming as a newbie. That's huge.
I was very excited. Really was. I was a little devastated I didn't get called into the top, but they did give us awards, and I did win that award. And I remember going back home and thinking, like, this is something that I really feel. I felt that I was good at it, and I went in there without knowing what was going to happen, and I was very proud and very grateful for that opportunity.
Well, the other thing that you had kept on saying is that you were a tomboy. So
Yes.
for you to get an award in that specific category, did that emotionally give you some like a wake up call, like, yeah, like I'm on the right path? Did you feel that way? I know you said that you felt you could do better, and you were, but did you were reflecting back on it as you had more time, did you feel like you're on the right path?
So with beauty pageants, they're very big on like hair and makeup. Um, Being that I was a tomboy for such a long time, I didn't know anything about makeup. So, I would look at the other girls, and they knew how to do their hair, they knew how to do their makeup. So it definitely was a moment where I realized, like, maybe I can improve on certain skills, not necessarily change who I am as a person, but just I guess you could say, like, be a little girlier, be more comfortable in my own skin, um, like, be more feminine. And it's okay to be sexy and confident at the same time. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's definitely something I realized at a young age.
So, for your listeners that are tomboys and they want to break out of that shell, because there's nothing wrong with being a tomboy if they want to, but they want to break out of the
No.
shell, um, what is your advice? Because you really transitioned really successfully, and you, even like you said, you got in front of the camera. So what do you think led you to the point where you were at that point at 17 where you were finally on stage?
Um, Honestly, my advice would be just, you have to feel comfortable in your own skin. I don't want to tell someone to break out of the tomboy phase. I broke out of the tomboy phase at 15. I just, I wanted to feel sexier and more comfortable in my skin because, you're getting older and, you're already developing into becoming a woman. And being a tomboy, there's nothing wrong with that. I was definitely a sporty girl. And there are many girls who are competing in like softball and um,
Track and
maybe
field.
softball,
Right.
field, exactly. And, going into the pageantry world, it's like people think it's a complete opposite, but it's really not. Like most of the girls in pageants, they most of them didn't know how to do their hair and makeup, and it's just a competition, something that they want to do, like a challenge. And you go in, you have to be yourself. Like you can't go in there and try to be a different person and say, okay, well, I was a tomboy for so long, now I have to change who I am. Like not at all. You just have to be your authentic self and really go into a pageant with a platform and ideas and goals and what do you want to do with the title once you are a title holder. That's mostly what pageantry is looking for, not necessarily like a girly girl. So if a girl does want to break out of it, I mean, it is if it is her decision. um just practicing heels, how to walk, or like look up YouTube videos like how to do your hair, makeup, and aside from that, I think it's
Is there
you
any
just, as long as you feel
confidence?
comfortable.
Well,
Hmm.
is there a confidence thing that you would like, because you could still dress the same way, but
Hmm.
is there an emotional component to it at all?
Well, for me, honestly, and this may not be every girl, but when I do my hair and I do my makeup, I do feel like 10 times sexier. And I feel like, oh my gosh, I can take on the world. I feel put together. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. Same thing with makeup. Like some people wear tons of makeup and they want to hide their flaws or they feel like they have imperfection. For me, it's more of like a highlight, like just highlighting your beauty and enhancing your confidence. That's pretty much just what it is. It's not changing who you are at all.
I just wanted to take 1 second from this great interview and talk about our sponsor of the week, Mid Atlantic Video and Photography Productions. No matter if you're planning a wedding, a special event, or you just need an amazing headshot, they are the team to get the job done. You can reach out to them at 443 422 3830. Again, that's 443 422 3830. Or you can go right to their website at mavpp.com. Now let's get right back to the show and listen to this great interview. See, I absolutely agree with you. It's so important to have someone like yourself, Jennifer, to be able to tell these young girls that confidence comes in so many ways, and um, people look to so many people for role models, and you've taken this path and you have so much success. It's it's really important to hear role models say that you can take the path that works for you and you can still be successful. So
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Um, Honestly, my take on it is I feel like everyone has something to offer in this world. Everyone is born with a different talent. They're unique in their own way. Like you, for example, photography is your thing, and maybe you have other talents that we don't know about. But I'm not like I may be great on camera, but I may not be so great at editing the footage. And but we have someone in this world who is. So I feel like everyone has an input in this world, and everything happens for a reason. Everyone has a place on earth.
I mean, I think that's just a great way to think in life, because the other way to think that certain people don't have a role is a really bad way to look at it. So it just shows that you have a big heart, and you're willing to give anyone an opportunity. So
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you promoting that type of mentality, because that type of mentality makes a much better world for everyone to live in. So.
Thank you. Especially like being a pageant girl, I've learned most people feel that all beauty queens are a certain way, and that's not it at all. You're going to meet the most amazing women in the pageantry world, women who are determined, are driven, who come from all different backgrounds, and we're all in there celebrating the same exact thing, which is women's rights, women's movements, women empowerment. You have women that are going in there went to law school, and you have other girls in there who are going to med school. You have other girls who are talented makeup artists, and you just it's more of like a networking event. I would like to call it. I wouldn't so much want to say a competition, because if you go into a pageant thinking that it's a competition, you're not going to gain much out of it. This is a time for you to network and see what your neighbor is doing. A perfect example, I would say, was like just a few weeks ago. So I actually do social work now, and with the whole COVID-19 happening, there are so many people that I work with who have lost their jobs. And the sad part is just, they don't have food to feed their families. So my role right now is, recollecting food from people. And one of the girls that I compete with actually told me, like, Jen, if you need anything, please let me know. Like, we're willing to donate. She connected me to a group chat on Facebook, and I went on the group chat and I found so many resources for my clients who didn't have food. And, that's something that I'm very grateful for, just that having that connection made a big difference in someone's life.
Well, it's awesome that you've found something so passionate that you can make such a difference uh, in your short life. Do you feel that you found this passion because of all the things you've learned in life, or do you think you were predetermined to work in the field that you're in now?
So I've always been a person who's giving, and I always want to give back to my community. So being in this field is very rewarding. I do also do real estate on the side, and I like having multiple sources of income per se. I don't like just depending on just one source of income. So I always do like part-times here and part-times there, but that's just my personality. Most people just want to focus on one thing, but for me it works because I have a flexible schedule with social work, and then with the real estate I also have a flexible schedule. So it all kind of just ties in together and plays out perfectly.
Well, diversifying, they say, in life and in your money is always important. So it sounds like
Yes.
you're on the right path there. Um,
Thank you.
uh, so you're I to me it sounds like you did very successfully in your first pageant, but you felt that you didn't do well, into your own words. How what did you decide to go forward at that point? Did you do another pageant right away? Did you wait a year? Um,
So right after that pageant, I actually straight to college. I did 4 years in college, and I took a break. I like to think that the women who go and compete in a pageant and are balancing schoolwork at the same time, it's everything is very difficult. So I was also working full time when I was in college. So I took a break. I wanted to focus on my studies. Once I was done, I said I have to come back. So I competed for the Miss USA system. Again, I did terrible on my interview, and
do you feel
after
that you
that,
know why you did bad in your interview?
yes. So for me, the hardest thing was public speaking. And a lot of people don't like to talk about their flaws on a podcast, but
Oh,
I'm
I
being
mean,
real with
you can be
everyone.
vague. I'm not. This isn't this isn't a gotcha. Where this is really, like I said, this is really just to help other people. So, I mean,
Okay. So I mean, I'm not ashamed to talk about it, but I definitely felt that I needed to polish my public speaking skills. In college, I did very well doing presentations, and throughout high school, I always did very well. But when it came to being in a scenario where I was being judged, I was definitely very intimidated. So I took a break, like a couple months break, and I started getting coaching for interviews. And honestly, getting a coach is the best thing ever because you yourself can look at yourself in a mirror and see what you're doing and point out, okay, this is what I'm doing wrong, and maybe I need to polish this. But when you have someone who's a professional, who's, been there, done that, they're going to tell you, well, not necessarily change who you are as a person, but I think if we go towards this path, and talk more about this. It's mostly just bringing out something within yourself that you don't see, and that's what the coach does. So that was in 2015. I took a small break, and then I did another pageant, and I actually represented Pennsylvania on a national level. So then I went to Miss U.S. International, and
Awesome.
I definitely felt like, my interview skills were so great. My confidence was so much better just because I felt like I can talk to people now. I can talk to the judges, and they're regular people. It shouldn't be as intimidating as most people view it as.
Now, did you specifically hire a pageant coach, or did you hire a speaking coach?
I hired a pageant coach. I kind of did a little bit of both. I wanted to integrate walking, talking, on stage presence. I wanted someone who knew the full package.
Gotcha.
So I did work with like two coaches, I
Hmm.
would say, a former title holder and also a walking coach. And that did help me tremendously. You may think you know how to walk, but maybe you don't know how to pose, and maybe you look better from a different angle. And everything is just about presenting yourself to the best of your abilities, not changing who you are, just pinpointing the important things that you want the judges to know about you.
I love the saying, "Dress for the job you want and not the job you have." So
Yes,
it's
that's
exactly
very true.
that's. I can show I can throw out uh, sayings all the time, but you also have to follow through with it too. So if
Absolutely.
so, I mean, basically what you're saying is exactly that. You wanted to win, so you hired someone who already won a national title. So I mean,
Hmm.
that's just so important. What was that experience? One, winning a title, and then one, winning a state title that you got to compete for a national title. What was that total experience going from never having a title to winning a state title and then competing at a national level?
So it's an amazing experience, and you walk in there and you're seeing girls from different states, and we're all there for the same purpose, but we all live in different areas. And I just think it's awesome how, just thinking like, oh, there's a Miss California. I've never been to California. You learn about the state, you learn about her, that person as an individual, or like Minnesota or Michigan, I'm sorry. So I think it's very, very cool, at least for me, because I'm a big traveler. So I love learning about every state. And I just think it's cool that, just there's other girls out there with the same views and goals that you have. They just happen to live at a different location. They're just 3,000 miles away. But
Is it your goal?
definitely,
I'm sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
You mentioned something. I just want. So is it your goal to basically travel to all continental United States or all 50 states then?
Absolutely. I really do. I really would like to visit all 50 states, and I would like to go to all seven continents, honestly. Um, I'm very big on submerging myself in other cultures and learning about it. The most recent place I went to was Canada, and I absolutely fell in love with Canada. Like, you have no idea how much I love this, the country.
They're
Um,
just so nice, aren't they?
They are. Everyone there is so nice. There's a lot of people who are very diverse, just like me, and I really loved Canada.
It's like
Really
a
did.
special pixie dust that's just sprinkled around there.
All
I
right,
don't.
it definitely reminds me of the United States a lot. It's just a lot colder.
I know. I mean, my argument is that if it wasn't for the winters, with their universal health care and um, very new policy of 420 friendly, I think it'd be a country that would be very happy to live in. So, that
Yeah, I definitely feel like Canada is very advanced in that sense of what you're mentioning. One of there was also, I think, the first woman who, or transgender woman to ever compete in a pageant was actually in Canada. And I just love how advanced they are, socially acceptable, acceptance is there, in
it's like the
definitely.
it's like the country that it most real like ties to Europe. That they're like Europe, but they have North American like ideals. So like they have some European like customs, but then like being nice to people and like having universal health care. But then like you know they have they're wealthy and they have money, and they live, but they're just too cold. They're just too cold.
It is cold.
I know.
I actually have a cousin that lives there, and one of my favorite things about Canada is that literally almost everyone in Canada speaks two or more
Yes.
languages.
That's
So
another
I
reason
have,
why it's more like a European
yep.
country. Yeah. So
So I actually have a cousin who speaks English and Spanish, and she married a man there who speaks Turkish and French. And her daughters now speak four languages, which I think is amazing. They speak Turkish, French, Spanish, and English. And I'm just like, wow, like I wish I can speak four languages. Like it would be so nice if I could speak French, but I
they
can only speak two.
I keep on reading and hearing that the more languages you learn, the more brain capacity that your brain is able to understand more things. And so I mean, I assume that's correct. I mean, it makes sense to me. Um, and to me, it makes you sound. I mean, at least at the little it sound, it makes you sound more worldly. Just to be able to do two or three languages for sure.
I agree. Agree. The more, honestly, the more you learn, the better. Um, I'm never closed minded about getting new knowledge or, obtaining new information, especially when it comes to learning about other cultures, for sure.
So you're at the national pageant. You're just absolutely fascinated by all of the states, learning about them. What else happened at the um is there a real difference between that local or that state pageant compared to that national pageant? Just the way it's held or the people how the people are.
Yes, so it's a big difference. So coming out of your state pageant, it's just one weekend. Sometimes it's even just a day. But getting there, you're there for an entire week, and it's just a lot of rehearsals. You wake up early in the morning. So call time was sometimes 6 in the morning, other times it was at 7 in the morning. So I would have to wake up at 4 or at 3 in the morning to do my hair and makeup to be ready for the photo shoot or for rehearsals. Your day is pretty much planned for you throughout. So you're getting out of your room at 6, and you probably won't go back until like 9 p.m. And then you have to wake up the next day and do it all over again. So it's definitely a lot more challenging, and you have to be mentally prepared for that kind of competition. But honestly, at the end of the day, when you leave, you just feel like, wow, I will do it all over again, because you just meet so many people, and it's mostly about the friendships you make. It's not so much about who's walking away with it. title. Although, walking away with the title is awesome and would be, obviously we all want that, but in the long run, like realistically speaking, there's only going to be one girl walking away with the crown. So just make the best of it while you're there.
And this is the title that you held for U.S. What was the U.S. what?
International. So I
Okay,
did.
okay. You'd see this is the international pageant. Okay,
Mhm.
okay. So, how did you place at internationals?
Didn't place.
Okay,
Um, I, I definitely felt that it was more of an experience for me and just meeting other girls. Of course, you want a place and you want to give it your all, but I went in there and I said, okay, I literally did everything in my power and everything that I could give on stage, I did and I gave it. And, I can just walk away just saying, I'm very happy with my performance and what I did. What people say is usually there's like 5 or 6, 7 judges, and they're all different people with different views. And these 7 judges may pick a different girl than another 7 set of judges may pick. So yeah, definitely just walk in there, do the best you can, and don't worry about are they going to pick me or not.
gotcha. So, coming back, were you even more invigorated to really help your community and make a change now that you had all these other connections now?
Yes, I actually work with NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and I also work closely with MHA, which is the National Mental Health Association. And our goal is just to target, even if it's just one person, and get the word out, explain to people, the importance of being mentally stable, finding help if you need help, not being ashamed of it. Um, my role is to educate people on the numbers. And, most people don't know, like, 1 in 4 Americans do suffer from a mental illness, but most people don't want to talk about it because it's, they feel like they'll be frowned upon or they'll be judged. And I just want people to know that there's someone fighting a battle that you don't know. Not everyone posts their
Struggles.
down moments and their struggles on social media. And that's also another reason why I definitely feel like people should take social media breaks. Focus on a goal on yourself. Like for me, I definitely took a social media break after my recent pageant because I wanted to focus more on real estate and, going online and I'm just distracting myself. So
Well, I noticed on your Instagram specifically, you trim down your photos. Is that kind of a mental thing that you've done, or you just like to have your highlights, or is that um, how do you rectify that personally? Is that just so you show a certain image, or is that a combination of all of that?
on my social media, I mostly want to focus on like bringing awareness. So I have made posts about me going to schools and talking to students. I I mostly like to use it as a that posting positive quotes and giving people those positive affirmations. That's mostly what my social media is about. I don't really like to get too personal on there, just because I'm very private with my life, like my dating life, my all that sense. I just wanted to use it as a positive tool, a positive network to reach out to other people.
I
Um,
agree with you as well
mhm.
because um, giving them more information only fuels the fire. So if you give them a little bit of information, then people just want more. So you should, if you truly are focused on those certain topics, then might as well just take the influence that you have and then focus on it. Then all of the peripheral stuff that might distraction like boyfriends and relationships and girlfriend drama and all that kind of stuff. So
For sure. And I'm not like one of those girls that only post pictures when I'm dolled up. Like, today I did 5 miles and I posted a picture without makeup. My hair is all messed up. And, I'm not afraid to do that because in the end, that's what I look like. And this is who I am. And I should be proud of that.
Do you encourage girls to do the non-makeup day, and and to go and to like promote that either go to school or post it, or I mean if you're not a posting person, like you're not encouraging on your social media to post all that kind of stuff all the time, but at least take a break from it.
Yes, absolutely. I honestly don't wear makeup as often. People think that because I'm a pageant girl, I leave my house with a full set of makeup on and my hair done. Honestly, I do my hair once a week on Sundays. And this during quarantine, I haven't been wearing any makeup for work. I don't wear any makeup. I do social work and I interact with people every day, and I want to be as humble as I can be. I don't want to go in there and show up with like lashes on and makeup. I want to be that person that people want to speak to. Um
You
I just
probably
like to wear
relate to
makeup.
your clients more because um, you you come in as being humble and uh, more approachable than it, like you were saying, than coming in all glamour mode. So
Yes, definitely. I'm not against makeup. I definitely do still love makeup. Like for on stage for fashion shows, you want to wear makeup because you want to stand out, and the camera, the light usually washes off everything from your face. So I definitely use makeup. I barely use makeup, but when I go out or when I'm doing a pageant, yes, I do put on makeup. But honestly, it's great for your skin. A lot of people compliment my skin and they're like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "I don't really do anything." I sometimes I do face masks and I put serum on my face and I do moisturize my face daily, but I don't do anything fancy. It just my skin is always taking a break because I don't wear makeup as constant as people think I do.
I mean that's a great suggestion and thing to promote. So I are you in, would you endorse that if you have bad acne, or if you feel that your skin needs a break, would you encourage people for occasionally to not wear makeup and let your pores and your face relax and breathe?
Yes. 100%. So, and for me, like everyone has different skin, but with my skin type, in the winter time, I do like to wear foundation on my face just to protect my skin because my skin gets very dry and irritated in the winter time. But in the summertime, it's like my skin is made for that weather. I can take in the sun and I won't break out, but other people do break out. So I try not to wear as much makeup in the summer as I do in the winter. It's just more of the seasons, what protects my skin and what doesn't.
I mean, that's some great advice there.
Thank you. Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I like to keep it natural.
I just wanted to take one extra second and talk about our sponsor of the week, Mid Atlantic Video and Photography Production. No matter if you're planning a wedding and you need a wedding videographer, you're doing a music video, or doing a commercial, they are the team to get the job done. You can reach out to them at 443 422 3830. Again, that's 443 422 3830. Or you can go right to their website at mavpp.com. Now let's get right back to this great interview. All right, Jennifer. So this is the part of the show where I let you take over and highlight anything that we haven't talked about yet. So, what is going on in your life that's important that we need to highlight and talk about?
So right now I'm actually training for Miss Grand United States, which I'm really
Ooh,
excited for.
exciting, exciting.
Yes, that will be. It was supposed to be in June, but because of COVID-19, it was pushed over to end of August.
I love
It
their
will
sash.
be.
I love their sash.
Me too. I was so excited. Um, it's a great system. I've heard about it for many years, but I've never taken the step or taken the initiative to actually compete. And it's my last year competing, so why not?
And what what
so,
what state are you representing?
so I actually know the director. I'm gonna be representing Pennsylvania.
Cool.
It's still a new system. And on the national level, it's not so new, but within the states level, it is. So they don't have that many girls. So they're kind of just like, if you want to represent a state and you feel like you can, then hey, let's go for it.
Hmm.
Um,
Are they doing their nationals in Chicago? Because I know they did in Chicago last year.
yes, they are. They're still doing it in Chicago, just a different date.
That's awesome. Chicago's is like such a unique because everyone goes to like Vegas and Orlando and California, but Chicago sounds like such a really awesome place to go. Have you had the privilege of going to Chicago yet?
I have not, but honestly, everyone that I've ever spoken to that's been to Chicago always says positive things about it. Same thing with Canada. I always hear positive things about Chicago, and they're like, the city's so clean and it's so nice here, and there's so much to do, and there's so much life. And I just can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait to get there. I think I'm even more excited about meeting, getting to know the people in the city and learning more about the state itself.
I don't want to offend my New York residents, but it's like a clean New York because it has that big metropolis feeling. Um, it's got the multiple. I'm a big sports person, so it's got two football, two baseball teams, a football team, a basketball team. So it has all that kind of stuff, and so yeah, I think you'll probably feel very at home.
I hope
Just
so. I'm very excited.
yeah, just very Midwest, So they're big about their please and thank yous.
Well, I'll fit in perfectly fine.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so I wanted to really dive into. So is there anything else that we talked about that you wanted to bring up? That we
One thing I do want to
Sure.
bring up is like right now with COVID-19 going on, there are so many families who have lost their jobs, and we I think we came into this whole quarantine thing thinking people will be laid off temporarily, but there are people who are actually being laid off permanently. Um, I do know families who are working under a taxpayer ID and they won't qualify for the stimulus check. So what I want to tell people is just like we all eat, we all bleed the same, we're all human. If we can help one another, definitely let's do it. And if there's anyone there who has any canned foods that they don't want, that's just sitting in your cupboards, please donate it to your local food bank. I'm working very closely with the food banks right now, and to be honest with you, they're really running low on food and the demand is so high. So just help each other out, help your neighbor, and
Is there a national
whatever.
is there a national website that you can look up your local food bank?
Yeah, so actually foodbank.org, I believe, is the website. Foodbanks.org. If it's not food bank, it's foodbanks.org. You go on there and it has all 50 states, and you click on the state that you are in, and then under there they have all the cities, and then you click on the city and it tells you all of the food banks in the area. So since the demand is so high, they don't even have, well, some of them are have scheduled dates, but some of them just kind of just waive everything. And if you need food and you need to go into a different city, even if you're not a resident of that city, they're allowing it because people need to eat. So that's just my something that I want to get out there, the importance. There are some people who don't have voices, and if we can help, certainly we should.
I absolutely agree with you. That's one of the horrible things about having schools out because most kids only get one meal a day and it's provided by the school. So I encourage you. I absolutely agree with Jennifer to donate any extra canned food or non-perishable items to the food bank. Um, so pasta is always a good one to donate. You know, it lasts basically virtually forever, and it feeds so many people. So
Yes, thank you for sharing that information. Um, I can definitely look into the website and give you more information. You're based out in Maryland, right?
yes, we are. But I would
Okay.
love, I think it's important that we promote this time of need to everyone in the entire country. So all of that information will be in the bio information below, along with the way to contact Jennifer. So, um, if you guys um, need those resources, either look in the bio below or just do a short Google search like Jennifer is saying. So.
Yes, and I'm actually back and forth from Delaware and Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. So if right now you have anything that's left over, I have no problem going to your house, picking it up and sending it over to a family who is in need.
Well, that's such a in a crisis like we have, you're taking such a huge risk, and I'm sure a lot of people appreciate that because you're putting your life at risk, and you don't know for sure if anyone is sick or not, and you're really trying to help feed so many people that are starving that could die just because of starving. So that's a huge that's something to be commended for. You're I mean, you're
Thank
taking
you.
as much risk um, to make sure that people are fed, and also your resources of working with them as someone who's a police officer right now, and um, I don't take that lightly. So because honestly, we don't know who's sick, and we don't know exactly how to stop this horrible disease. So I commend you for working and being so diligent to want to help people in this need.
Thank you. So I actually got the exact website.
Oh, great.
It's actually foodpantries.org
Food food
and
foodpantries.org. Okay.
.org. Yes, local Salvation Armies do food banks all the time. I know food banks here are, like I said, they're waiving. Whether you're in a different city, they're allowing you to come in and just take what you need.
Yeah, um we're in a very trying time. I don't know of any other time in our country's short existence that something like this has happened that's been so devastating. So we need more people like yourself, Jennifer, that are willing to help people. So
Thank you. We need more people like you who's promoting, these events and all these resources to people. Definitely, it's a big help because most people don't even know about these websites. Just informing the public alone is a big win.
well, I think every little thing that either of us can do is always a positive. So um, I we this is um such a good topic. I want to stay on it. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Because I guess I wanted to talk about some non important topics, but I also want to make sure that you get everything. So, is there anything else that um, that's really important that we need to tell the folks?
As of right now, I'm just focusing on the food banks, because this is such a recent crisis. That's my main goal right now.
Hmm.
But further down the line, with mental health awareness, that's definitely a big one for me as well. Um, we definitely have to find people resources that need them and help these individuals that are struggling with an internal battle. Um, that's just pretty much what I like to bring awareness to. Just to help these individuals on a one-to-one basis.
Are you still signed with an agency?
A modeling agency,
Yeah.
yes, I'm
So
signed
does
with.
go okay,
Sorry,
good. No, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm signed with NYMMG.
Does that agency play any role in helping you um, fundraise or promote and get that, or they they don't take a role like that?
That's a good question. I'm not aware if they are. But it would actually would be very good to find out. I never thought about that.
Because I was just curious to like know how, when you're working with an agency, like what kind of role they actually play, because you know, you know, how does that work for a client? Like, you had gotten signed so young in life. Um, was there any point where you didn't have an agency representing you, or did you go from one agency to another and never had a lapse? Because I have friends that are like dying to get signed, but they're struggling to get signed. So that's
Hmm. It honestly depends on the agency. Every agency is looking for something different. There are other agencies who, are they're not that as strict. Um, I would honestly just say keep trying. Try local agencies as well. I started off with a local agency, and then I moved over to New York MMG, NYMMG, and honestly, it's been great. Each agency has a different um, thing that they focus on. So one agency might focus on lifestyle, another might focus on high fashion, modeling, bikini. Um, and then others just look at like bridal, like local events, those sorts of things.
so. I guess try to find an agency that focuses on what your best talent is. Is that the shortest way to say it?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any like there is for the food bank where there's a directory? Is there a directory when it comes to agencies that you, or is that kind of like you just got to know what you got to know who you know to find out information like that?
Not exactly. Most of the agencies I found were actually online. The most recent agency I signed with, I met them through the pageant. Um, honestly, it's just more of doing some research, going online, calling up a few places.
And
that
those
definitely helped me a lot.
experiences have gone well, um, by just doing research online. You found that the credibility that they claimed they had was truthful.
So, in that sense, it's very good to look at reviews, look at their ratings, and see, what other people have to say. Don't be afraid to see, because at the end of the day, you're going in there because you need something in return. And if you don't feel like that agency will fulfill those needs, then I wouldn't sign with them. No.
I mean that. I mean, I think that's some really good advice too. So, um, well, is there anything else that you want to talk about, Jennifer? Because I want to keep, I want to hold you to that 1 hour and not take more of your Easter Sunday away from you. So,
That's pretty much it on my end. If you have any other questions, I'd be happy to
no,
help
I think we
answer them.
had a great interview, and I really appreciate you coming on the show. I wish it was under better times, but maybe what you do best will help other people and will spread the word, and really help more people. So
For sure. Thank you so much for having me, for inviting me on.
no, thank you for coming. Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking about your amazing experiences in your short life. And I am so excited to have the opportunity to interview you and talk about your uh, experience on the Wendy Williams show and donating money to the food banks and your experience competing in a national title. It's just an incredible short life you've had, and just am absolutely fascinated by your positive attitude, and we appreciate all of your hard work that you're putting out there. I want to thank everyone for subscribing to the channel. The channel continues to grow, and we really appreciate everyone out there for listening and really adding something to the show and giving us thumbs up and commenting. And we appreciate you guys so much. Please don't forget the show is released on Thursday afternoons. We also now are releasing it on our IG channel that's associated with my Instagram page, which is MAVPP26. So you can now listen to it, but we would really appreciate if you guys can go over to YouTube and Instagram and sign up and become a subscriber both on those channels. And please comment. Your feedback is so important. Give us some feedback, give us some stars, thumbs up, thumbs down, positive or negative comments always make the show better, so we appreciate the momentum. Don't forget, we also have our movie review show with Yvonne Carlos. We really appreciate you guys listening to that and really enjoying it. We're really excited to review more movies, so we really appreciate all of your guys' feedback on that show too. So for the Total Focus podcast and the movie breakdown, as always, please stay tuned.